Alright, we should be live now. What's up, everyone? Happy Wednesday. We got quite a few people early in the chat today. The first person was Federico Gonzalez. What's up? And then Craig Lilly following up shortly after. Need to make sure my mic is on, not like last week where I started for like 2 minutes straight just talking with no sound. But I think we're good on sound. What's up? Coalition Gaming Chris getting off of work as per usual, I think. Mod Kevin Ngo, what is up? Kale130 as always. Not a drug dealer. It's got a snowstorm where they're at. If someone says they're not a drug dealer with that Squidward avatar, do you trust them? Today is Jexy AE's birthday, so they can't watch the stream, but they're wondering if I could wish them a happy birthday, which I did in the comments, but also happy birthday on the live stream into the mic. Turning 19. Man, so young. What's up, Shane Eslick? How you doing? Hope you're doing well. We got Stang 2007. What is up? Brandon Wampler asked about a Ryzen 5 2600 bottlenecking against their RTX 2070. I said that they could... So bottlenecking is an interesting thing, right? By definition, you will always have something bottlenecking or limiting the performance of something else in your system. There's no perfect application where all the things will be used in sync perfectly. And if you found that, it's not going to be for a lot of different applications, whether it be for gaming or other heavy multi-threaded workloads. So for, let's just say, I'm assuming gaming, because we're talking about RTX 2070 here. With the Ryzen 5 2600 and RTX 2070, you could still game and get really good FPS, have no stuttering, you know, very consistent frame times, good 1% lows, all of that. But I know for a fact, if you upgrade that Ryzen 5 2600 to a newer modern day, like mid-range, or even I think the 12100 would get you better FPS. There are CPUs that you could get better FPS from than the 2600, but I think the 2600 and 2070 is still fine. You're not in dire need of an upgrade. There is a minor bottleneck, but it's not a huge problem. If money's tight, then just sit tight. But yeah, if you want to upgrade, Brandon, from the Ryzen 5 2600, you're on AM4. Make sure you do a BIOS update, because I'm assuming since you have a Ryzen 2600, you have an older motherboard, either like a B350, B450 maybe. So I would just pop in, like, I think a 5600 or 5600X is going to be a great increase in performance over that one. And you can still keep the motherboard and the RAM and everything. So that's my suggestion. I did link him to a Gamers Nexus video as well. Uh-oh, something went wrong with this. Let me pop this out again. What's up with chat being weird? Let me see. Okay, yep, chat's good now. But yeah, I did link a Gamers Nexus. What the heck? Why is YouTube? Why are you doing this to me? If I can get this going here. Yeah, Gamers Nexus actually released a video not too long ago over exactly that. Revisiting the Ryzen 2600, 2700, and 1600 AF, which we could take a quick look at. I'm just going to go to a random part of the benchmarks. Let's say Far Cry 6. That's a modern game, right? So you see down here, the Ryzen 5 2600 compared to something like a cheap... Where's the... Like a 12100F already gets a huge uplift in performance. Do they have 5600 and 5600Xs on here? They don't. They have... Oh yeah, they do. 5600 up here too. So you would be going from 86 to 130 average FPS. on Far Cry. With the 3090 Ti, that is. You will get less since you have a 2070, but it'll be somewhere in the middle here. So yeah. Don always says, would it be worth $170 to upgrade from a 10400 to a 10700K? Are you doing anything else aside from gaming? And what graphics card do you have paired with it? Hey, Don always with the channel membership join. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, but so $170 I feel is quite a bit of money. What depends on what graphics card you have. We'll wait for the answer in that. Danny Carbajal, the stream started at 5 p.m. PST as always. I don't think I've started a stream. If I've ever started a stream late, it would have been by like maybe a minute or two, but I'm pretty much been on the dot at 5 p.m. to start the stream for like over a year straight now, so. Don always, you have a 3080 EVGA. You'll get... Are you playing at 1440p? What resolution are you playing at? If it's at 1080p, yeah, I think the 10700K would give you better performance, especially if you overclock it. If you're playing at 1440p, ultra settings, or even 4K with the 3080, $170 seems like a lot for a same generational upgrade. I would save money, unless you have, like, you know, your money's burning a hole in your pocket. I would save the money until you could do either a 12th or 13th gen update. I don't know. The 10400 is still pretty good. I'm guessing that 170 means you're also gonna sell off your 10400. If you can get the 10700K for 170 and sell your 10400 for like $100, then that might be a more worthwhile upgrade, because the difference will be like $70 at the end of the day. But yeah. Yeah, Coalition Gaming. Remember when I used to stream in Mixer? That was when I streamed the WoW stuff, because I didn't want it getting in the way of the of YouTube streams. Man, that was a long time ago. Okay, Jason Whitmer says 4570 Optiplex and a GTX 1070 using a SATA to 8-pin with the 300 watt PSU, yay or nay? That's a huge nay in my book. I'm pretty sure that's a troll question though. Yeah, that's an actual potential fire hazard. Both on the PSU and on the adapter side of things. Hey, what's up, Jeff Zmunda? Jeff Z Muda. Zmuda or Zmuda? Second week in a row being able to catch stream. Awesome, awesome. Glad to see you here. Anybody who's a new face to the stream, what's up? We do this every week. We just hang out, do tech-related stuff, and I usually field the viewers for any kind of like questions or things that they want to do live on stream. Which today, if y'all want to look, I have stuff that I'm working on, but I couldn't do it on stream because they're gonna be for videos, and I'm not done with them yet. But if y'all want to look at any pre-builds, if you want to look at me to look over PCPartPicker lists, if you want me to look at your setups and stuff, post in the Discord, which I need to put a new Discord link up. New Discord link invite. Give me 1 second to get that out there. Invite people. Alright, so the description should have an updated Discord link right now. Where if you want to join the Discord, you can post in one of the channels. And we can take a look at your build and setup if you want to kind of like showcase it and show it off. Uh-oh, that's not the right one. Here's the right window. Yeah, so there's this channel, build and setup showcases, where you can submit, and we just have a bunch of people's setups and PC builds that, you know, it could inspire other people for their own builds and setups. Steve from... Oh, the Jesus haircut, Tech Jesus haircut. Dude, no way. I can't. that's just too uncomfortable. I think once your hair gets... Oh, how... People with long hair, how do y'all do getting out of the shower? I hate... I shower at night, so that's before bedtime. Like, really close to before bedtime. Like, literally before I hit the sheets. That's when I shower every night. How do people deal with that wet hair? Like, even if you try to dry it with a towel, blow drying it would take a while. Drying it with a towel only does so much. It still leaves you with damp pillow. So, I don't get how people... I mean, my wife has long hair. But, yeah, long hair, it seems like too much of a hassle, to be honest. No way I could grow hair like that. Zach's Fantasy, what's up? I'm doing good. How are you? What's up, Dan Kim? Oh, Don Always. You're doing 1080p 240 hertz with the third... Yeah. You're gonna need as fast of a processor as you can get. See, at that point, I would say... You can't platform upgrade without a motherboard upgrade though, so it's kind of tough. I still don't really think that it's worth going from the 10400 to the 10700K unless you get it for a good enough discount. Okay, smart guy, if you're using an Optiplex, are you using like a slim tower? No, you could use a 1070, that's fine in the Optiplex. You just need a better power supply. If you have a slim tower with like a special form factor, you know, power supply, then you're kind of screwed. I would go with like a 1050 Ti or something that does not need external power. Or if you do need external power, make it no more than like, again, a 1050 Ti, 1650 Super, 1650, just a lower powered graphics card. Kiro says, showers are the worst part about having long hair. Yes, exactly. Blow dryer, dude, even with blow dryer, with long hair, that still takes too long, and that's a lot of effort. Long hair out of the shower is cold and heavy, no sleeping right after, yeah. So that would work out best for like a morning shower, which I am not. Yeah, and then when you put clothes on, it can get onto like, you know, it can leave damp spots all over your clothes. Tavian Sharp says, is switching to DDR5 worth it? Currently we're running 12700K and a 4090. If I went DDR4, I'd go Z. Okay, so you would you're ready to do a full platform upgrade? There's tons of, okay, we're gonna take a look at a quick video here. DDR versus DDR5. So the issue about DDR4 and DDR5, in my opinion, is right now DDR5 is still kind of in its infancy stages. Think about what happened when DDR4 first hit the scene. Everything was pretty much 2133 megahertz across the board for the more affordable mainstream stuff. Anything above that, even like 2666 or 2400, and especially anything in the 3 gigahertz range, that was considered premium and you had to pay a lot for. So with DDR5, I hear a lot of people saying DDR5 is getting cheap, and they're not wrong. The cheapest, slowest DDR5 is getting pretty close to like the standard 3200 mega transfers per second DDR4 RAM stakes. But if you're gonna upgrade to like 13th gen with a Z790 board, are you really going to just get what's the cheapest DDR5 speeds right now? 4800 megahertz or something. So let's just take a look at this. Intel 12th gen testing games. I love this channel. If y'all haven't seen this, they make really good side-by-side comparison content. So we're gonna take a look at DDR4 versus DDR5. We've got on the DDR4, what is it? DDR4 is 3200 megahertz, though it is CL14, so it's a little bit more premium. And then we have 5200 CL38. So we look at the comparison between the two, and what kind of sucks is that a lot of these are going to be such high FPS. Like, to me, is this worth jumping from? This is in Forza Horizon 4. Is it worth spending the money to upgrade your motherboard and if you're doing your motherboard, it sounds like you're going to do your CPU to 13th gen, even though you already have 12th gen, which is still good enough, and paying more for DDR5. Is it worth from 235 and 233 FPS? That is, to me, negligible. If you're running 240 Hz monitors and you're trying to push as high of FPS as you can, it could be worth it to you, but to me, I don't know if that's worth it. Here in Far Cry 6, 136 versus 149. That's what, 13 FPS, but if you look at a percentage, that is about 10% going from 136 to 149. I don't know. It's just, I don't see any issues with having slightly lower FPS on DDR4, given you already have that platform. And to me, that would be perfectly functional. Like having 136 versus 149 FPS. Let's take a look at some other ones. Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I like this. I like this game. I'm actually started playing through it. Assassin's Creed Valhalla. We're looking at 137 versus 134 FPS. That's like a 2% ish gain. 2% FPS, average FPS gains. Battlefield here, we got 214 versus 226. So, long story short, I don't think it's worth it to go from your current DDR4 12700K up to DDR5 to have to buy new RAM, have to buy new motherboard, and you're considering buying 13th gen. I don't think it's worth it. Coalition Gaming, that channel is great. That host has so much personality. Honestly, I value channels like this as much as I do ones with talking heads or with a host and personality, because when you need a quick answer, they got it. Like, you don't have to listen to someone tell us backstory, which is something that I would do in my videos, but this one is just straight testing. So it's a good balance compared to every other tech content creator that we know of, right? That has a lot more talking head in videos. Jason Whitmer wants to play WoW Classic at 1080p, 450 FPS. What rig do you need? Honestly, for WoW Classic, I don't think it's optimized well enough, even if you have the highest end hardware, to push super high FPS like that. I haven't tested it myself, because I'm not using a super high-end rig. I'm using a 6600 XT right now, so I'm not pushing 400 FPS in Wrath of the Lich King Classic. Ricardo Lopez, small form factor build for $800. That might be what our first topic is today. Gaming. That's gonna be a tough one, especially if you want to stay more modern, just because ITX motherboards are super expensive right now. And you would have to go back to, like, you know, previous gen, either Intel or AMD, and even then it's still gonna be expensive, and power supplies are expensive. So let's try to build that. Actually, is that why my DPS has gotten lower? That's true. No, it's because I'm a hunter, and hunters just don't pump much DPS at all. Hey, what's up, Scooter? I'm doing well. How are you today? Been playing a lot of Escape. Okay, Escape from Tarkov. Escape from Tarkov is very much my jam in terms of, like, types of games. I am on the hunt right now for a survival horror game, which I know Tarkov isn't a horror game, really, but it is like a scavenging survival game. There just are not a lot of good scavenging survival games. Project Zomboid, I want to try to get into, if anyone out there plays Project Zomboid, as well as 7 Days to Die. I know 7 Days to Die is, like, super old by this point, and people have played the crap out of it, but I never got into it. But those are the types of games I want to get into, where you have to scavenge, loot stuff, try to, like, save as much ammo and weapons as you can, and fight zombies. There are games coming up that are themed like that, like post-apocalyptic. Oh, Rust 2, I guess. Was it Sons of the Forest is something that's coming out? If y'all know any games that are out right now, though, let me know. Left 4 Blood, I'm not into, or Back 4 Blood, whatever the heck. I want more of like a huge open world where you have to go around and loot and discover. I don't want like a Back 4 Blood or Left 4 Dead kind of game where it's kind of like quick mini sessions. I want one where like you build up stuff and build a base over time. That's just Dying Light? Yeah, but isn't Dying... I also want one that can host more than like 2 to 4 people. Yeah. Yeah, building doesn't have to be a necessity, but definitely being able to host a server of like at least 8 to 10 or 12 people, yeah. DayZ... Yeah, I guess online. Not co-op, but like multiplayer online. DayZ, I know of DayZ. But isn't DayZ just PvP? There's no zombies in it and stuff, right? It's just you against other players, kind of like Tarkov, except with a bigger map. Yeah, the forest. I'm looking forward to Sons of the Forest. Holy crap. The Sons of the Forest, the graphics in that looks insane. Sons of the Forest, yeah. I think a lot of people who are into the Forest are gonna be excited about this one. Skyrim multiplayer, yeah. I mean... I'm actually not sure if there's zombies in DayZ. Of all the footage that I've seen, it's only been, like, Survivor humans versus other Survivor humans. Hey, what's up, Ian? How you doing? Hey, what's up, Matt? Amazon has a combo for the Z690i. There we go. I wonder if that's gonna pop up on PCPartPicker. So 335 is... Oof, that's gonna be tough. See, for $800... we might be able to fit that. Okay, let's go over to PCPartPicker. So we're gonna start off with a combo that Matt found. Dead Rising 2, a multiplayer mod. Dead Rising. Oh, yeah. Wait, am I thinking of the right game? There's so many Dead games. Dead Rising. This is the one where you're running around the mall and stuff? Oh my goodness, Dead Rising 4? I was not even aware they had that many. Alright, so we're gonna start off with the small form factor PC. Trying to find... So, let's see if we can build one around... Because that would be pretty sick to get a 12400F. Well, 12400F is gonna be like around one... What is the going price right now? I'm just gonna put the price in and then we can modify it. Let me find the Amazon deal first. Let's see, 12400F Z690i. Where is it? 334, here it is. So how much is a 12400? Have y'all noticed that prices of everything has kind of gone up recently? Try to find like a 12100F, which you used to find for like 80 bucks used not too long ago. Like, let's take a look here. 12100F, which is kind of like the go-to budget. $106.99 right now on Amazon. And then if you try to find used ones, there are no used ones for cheaper. So you have to go on eBay, but they're not even that cheap on there. So we look for a 12400. What is that going for? Ooh, I need to change this stream elements thing. It's talking about something that we're not even doing anymore. Give me 1 second to do that. Dashboard. But yeah, so 12400F, look at the prices of these. These kind of have not moved. So it's already... And then we know the ITX boards are going to be pretty expensive off the bat. Let me see if we can find let's see, LGA 1700 ITX motherboard. There are H610i boards, but that... Oh man, that's just so sad to have to go down to like an H series board. Yeah, dang. Here's the 8610 again for 124. So there are affordable boards, but they kind of are very... Yeah, I wish the 12400... The closest 12400 you could get is 165. Let me check Newegg. Or I guess we can just go to... PCPartPicker, and the cheapest one we're gonna find for 12400 F. It's gonna be 163. What's up, Shauner? How you doing? Hey, what's up, Sean? Shauner says, I have a Z690 Aorus Lite and a 12400 I need to build with. A normal, like, ATX one, or a micro ATX. Not an ITX, right? So let's look at motherboards. So to find a compatible motherboard for this, and ITX, let's see if this comes in at the same price, if not less than what Matt sent. The cheapest ITX, 8610s. We do have $139.99 right here for the Z690 ITX. Is an ASRock one, but it is overclockable. And if we add these two together, what do we come in at? $333. So this is the equivalent to if you grab this Amazon deal for the most part. Yeah, so this one comes with the Aorus Ultralight, which the Aorus board is probably more expensive. So just assume you can switch that in. Oh no, this is the Aorus Ultralight. Sweet, I did pick the right one. Hey, what's up, Zia and Maxwell, Andy and Cam potentially. Oh, you do have that one. Yeah, so this one right here, it sounds like Aorus Ultralight. ASRock said the word, so I'm not buying them. What did ASRock say? Did I miss something? Is there some ASRock drama? Zachary Barney, I finally built my first PC. Congrats. You got any pictures? You want to send them to the Discord? But congrats, building your first PC. My mom actually built her first PC just last Friday, and that's gonna be the next video on the channel, so I'm pretty excited about that. It's a huge video to edit down. But my mom had never built a PC before, and I had a good opportunity to have her build one, so her being not, like, English isn't my mom's primary language, so this is a pretty fun video. But yeah, I think I'm saying congrats because I have witnessed firsthand many a times how difficult it is for a complete beginner to build a PC without someone walking them through it in person. Even going through YouTube videos and tutorials and stuff, it takes quite a bit of effort to, like, learn everything and get all the steps right. As people who have built PCs for years or have built multiple PCs, they often say, oh, building a PC is easy. But if you go back to the very first PC you built, assuming no one was there to hold your hand, how easy was it really? Because more often than not, I've found that it takes people a lot more time because they don't want to mess anything up, or because their specific hardware is slightly different than generic build guides that they find online that may not go over everything in detail. So Jason Hua says, I built my first PC using your videos. Awesome. And you know what's funny is I've never released a step-by-step PC build guide. I usually do parts list guides with benchmarks, but I've never done one where I explain every single step about, like, removing the CPU cover or, like, the latch, installing everything one by one. I've never released one of those videos. I'm long due for one, but I don't know. It's just been on the back burner. My first time, it was just slightly overwhelming. Oh, don't worry. I think building a PC is overwhelming the first time. After that, you become more seasoned. But, yeah, I don't understand the elitists out there who just assume everyone can build a PC for the first time ever with no reference, or just from video tutorials and thinking it's like a walk in the park. There's a lot of things that can go wrong. Very time consuming. That's right. So when my mom built her PC, I had to guide her a little bit, plus she had a guide in front of her, a tutorial. it was 5 hours. And that was with me trying to hurry things along a little bit here and there because I just didn't have 10 hours and she didn't have 10 hours to spend on building a PC, unfortunately. So, yeah. yeah, Sean. My mom built one, so. Sean, you haven't built one before, right? Sean, I built your last PC. And how's that PC doing, by the way? Do we need to clean it out and stuff during the LAN? Yeah, we spent 5 hours on Friday. I have 5 hours of footage that I need to cut down to like 20 minutes, which is gonna be almost impossible to do, but I'll get it done. Okay, so going back to this, we're at so we have $450-ish left to spend. We know we're gonna need this. So you guys have seen my approach to when we do these PC builds on stream. Fill out the stuff that you know you're gonna need already. You need RAM. Here, I'm probably gonna put 16 gigabytes just because we're on a pretty tight budget doing ITX. 16 gigabytes of RAM. Gonna try to fit a 1 terabyte SSD in there just because they're getting to the point where they're like $50, even $40. And then we gotta get an SFX power supply, the bare minimum one, probably like 500 watts. So let's see what that's gonna put our price at. So choosing a power supply, we're gonna have to choose SFX. Mini ITX, I guess, works too. Those should be one and the same thing. Look at this. They start at $60 for a 300 watt unit. Jesus, SFX are expensive. The cheapest 500 watt SFX or ITX unit is $100. Just for the power supply. This is killing our budget. The only way this doesn't kill our budget is if we go with a case that does not require an SFX power supply. But then those cases are kind of big and it's not really considered a ITX build anymore. Like if we look at the NZXT H200, that one takes the full size power supply. But would you consider that really an ITX game, a PC? Where's a better... How is the NZXT website not the first one that comes up on the search? Yeah, like this one. So this takes a normal size power supply, which would save us a lot of money. But do you consider this an ITX build? I'm going to ask that question. Okay. Cooler Master Elite 130. Tavian says, between ITX build and small... That's true. ITX build versus small form factor build. Yeah, it definitely would not be small form factor at all. What is this 130 mini ITX? Is this also a standard ATX power supply size case? Yeah, that's a crazy deal right there. The Revolt 3 with the 700 watt SFX power supply in it for 130. I picked up one of those similarly as well. Yeah, so the thing is, if you're gonna go with something like the H210, you can get micro ATX cases that are basically this size and save money on the motherboard. So yeah, let's say we have to go with an SFX power supply just because otherwise there are micro ATXs that are similar size to this. And the Elite 130, what does this use? ITX. This one is a small form factor, but what power supply? Oh, this one still uses... So the Elite 130 does use a full-size ATX power supply, but again, is this too big to be considered small form factor? If it can't fit as a personal item on a flight, dude, you can fit micro ATX towers into a carry-on luggage. Oh wait, when you said personal item, is carry-on luggage, that's not personal item, right? Carry-on luggage, personal was like your backpack. Sleeger cases. Okay, let's see. Sleeger. Oh man, look at these. These are expensive. Holy crap. 200. Okay, we can't afford $200 cases with this budget. Like, I can already tell, like, there's no way that's fitting in. So, alright, so we're gonna have to pick a small form factor power supply because we're gonna make this a small form factor build, not just ITX. We're gonna go with 500 watts. See, 650 for 10 bucks more. This is what we should really be going for. The 650 for 110. That's like the best wattage per dollar. But I'll go back to it. A 500 watt is gonna work for most of the graphics cards that we can fit in here anyways. So let's go for this one just to save money. And we're already at over half of the budget, 433 bucks. We're gonna need storage. Yeah, personal can be under the plane seat. That's not gonna be that many cases out there. So we're gonna go with the NVMe, the cheapest 1TB NVMe we can find, which is probably gonna be like the MP33 or something from Team Group. But let's take a look. Timetech Silicon Power Team Group MP33 for 50 bucks. Of these ones, I'm gonna pick the Team Group one. Yeah, I'm gonna pick the Team Group one. I just don't know too much about Levin and Timetech. They could be using the same like parts, just rebranded or under a different company. But I've actually used Team Group, and I actually have one back there. So we'll choose that, and we're already at 480 bucks. We're gonna need some memory. NR200P, I actually really like that case. Let's see if that's on sale. We'll look at the cases after we get the RAM. So for the RAM, it's SFX. Half the time, SFX doesn't even have like a window. A lot of SFX builds are just like mesh or ventilated on the side. So this isn't gonna be an aesthetic build. We have 800 bucks. We're already killing the budget with ITX parts. So we're gonna have to go as cheap as possible for the memory. And we're gonna go with the standard 2x8. What is it? Did RAM prices go up? What is this? Why is the cheapest 2x8 kit $57? What happened to the $45 kits? I didn't do anything else. RAM prices has gone up, huh? Here, I'm gonna take that out and see if we can just find 16 gigabyte. Oh, is this DDR? Is this a DDR5 board? It is. Alright, it's a DDR5 board, and 16 gigs, dual channel, it's 57 bucks. That's only about 10 bucks more. That was the cheapest motherboard, was the DDR5 motherboard. I would have assumed that was a DDR4 one. Neo Forza AF. The cheapest one is going to be this DDR5 4800, which again, is what I'm saying. DDR5 is getting cheaper, but it's only the really, it's really the slower stuff that's only getting cheaper. We might have to change, I don't think changing out the motherboard helps though, because that was like the cheapest non-H motherboard, and it happened to be DDR5. So this is kind of unexpected. We're gonna go with, let me look at the 16, 15... 16, yeah, all these similar price ones are the same true latencies, about 16 nanoseconds. Okay, so we'll pick this one for now, 58 bucks. So we're already at $541. Let me see if we could pick another motherboard. Seriously? That was the cheapest Z board. $169. Yeah, that is the cheapest board. A DDR5. The next one is a B660. for how much is that more? 25 more bucks right here. Look at that. Yeah, this must be on. Is this on sale right now? I got a package. Okay, thanks, babe. What is it? Fanfit? Fantex? Never heard of it. I got a package. Should we open it on stream? Yeah, so we have to go with DDR5. Going to a DDR4 motherboard would cost us more money at the end of the day, because the RAM price difference is only about 10 bucks. The motherboard price difference is 25. So yeah, we gotta stick to this. Okay. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna check out the package. Check out the specs of the let's see. I don't know what this is. Okay. So, what is it? Let me open this real quick. If it's for something that's like under embargo or I'm not supposed to talk about, that I can't show you it. But if it's something cool. Oh. Actually, I don't think I can show this. Yeah. Yeah, I can show you. Yeah, okay. This is for a future video. I can't show this right now. I'll show it to you later after the stream. Yeah, what's up, Tyler Tepper? It's a decoration thingy. Okay. So what are we at? We're gonna use the stock cooler for this because we're being cheap AF and we're trying to fit in a graphics card. So where are we at right now? 540 bucks. We got everything except for the case and the video card. That's all we need. Case and the video card. So let's pick a case now, because that's gonna determine how big of a video card we can have in here. So we pick, what is the cheapest ITX case that we can get? Anides AI Atomic? Dude, Anides. That's a name I haven't heard in a while. I used to have a PC in an Anides case. Silverstone SG... What is it? SG13? Let's see how much that costs. That's not even showing up here. We're gonna do mini ITX desktop and tower. What else do we have? Yep, that's it. So, I mean, I'm really trying to max out the graphics card here, because that's, if you're trying to build a gaming PC, that is where your budget should be going. So, the Absolute 32 asks, is getting a small form factor PC worth the typical additional cost for motherboard and power supply? Honestly, a small form factor PC is a luxury. You are paying a premium and not getting any additional performance for. Is it worth it? Is really situational and based on personal preferences. The only situation that I can think of is where a person needs a small form factor cases if they have very limited room. Think college dorm student sharing like 3 people to 1 dorm room. You have limited desk space. Or if in your house you're sharing a room with siblings, you have tiny desk space. Or if you're traveling around a lot, going to LAN parties, or just moving around a lot and you're lugging your PC. Those are what I would consider like, yeah, you could benefit from actually getting an ITX. Aside from those, it's just based on personal preference. If you like it, then you're paying a premium for something that isn't really necessary, because just by going micro ATX, you save on the motherboard. There's cheaper micro ATX cases in general than ITX cases, as well as the power supply. So it's really up to you. But in terms of the case, the cheapest case already baseline is starting at $64. $64 right here for this Apex. Then we got Silverstone. SG05 cases, Lian Li Q58. Cooler Master NR200s, 90 bucks. So we're looking at a $10 price difference. I really like the NR200. I think the NR200 in general is a very well-received case. I think we might have to go with it. I don't know how much money is that gonna leave us though. Less than 200 bucks. Yeah, no window here is perfect because we're not making this an aesthetic build anyways. So NR200 is what I'm thinking of going with. Actually, let me see. The Silverstone would save us some money, but how big is this thing? The Silverstone looks like it might be limiting. Also, this looks a little more dated, honestly. Yeah, is that for like a thin disk drive? Yeah, this thing definitely looks... Look at that. Look... I mean, I'm not saying ketchup and mustard is the only indicator of a more old case, but just look at the style of the fan grill. As well as, like, the wires in there, the pre-wiring. Yeah, I mean, what year did this come out? This is looking like an older case. I think I'm gonna go with the NR200. Because there's, aside from the Silverstone, there's this Apex one. And the Lian Li, actually, we could save 10 bucks. And I actually kind of like the look of this Lian Li case. Yes, there will be a GPU in this. So it's gonna... Most of these cases should be able to fit decent sized GPUs. Let's see, maximum video card length. Yeah, 320 millimeters versus 330. So they're pretty similar. The Lian Li's cheaper. We're not gonna... Graphics cards aren't that big. Like, unless you're getting like a huge card, which we don't have enough money for. 320 should be fine. So actually, I think I'm gonna go with the Lian Li Q58. Which build, Shauner? Are you talking about the Lian Li or NR200? Yeah, this thing, I mean, honestly, the Cooler Master NR200 also it can get pretty tight on the graphics card and the backside of things. Both of these look like pretty comparable sized cases, but this one's 10 bucks cheaper, so I'm gonna go with that. And this one just looks way too small. It's not gonna fit anything. So yeah, I think the Lian Li is the way to go, and it's gonna be a white build. So all right, what do we got so far? We are at $621. Uh-oh, we only have $180 left for a graphics card if we're trying to keep this under $600. So there is ways that we could go about this. We don't really have flexibility on the power supply or the case. Again, we found pretty much the cheapest, like, decent sized case. For the SSD, I mean, we could get a cheaper SSD, but it's not gonna be that much cheaper than 50 bucks. 500 gigabytes for 35 bucks is not worth it compared to spending 15 bucks more and getting double the capacity. So we can't really move that. The RAM is 58 bucks. We're stuck to DDR5. The only way we can get this cheaper and to get a better graphics card is to lower the motherboard, the DDR4, and go to DDR4 RAM, and to go down to like a 12100, maybe. We should be able to keep the 12400 if we down the motherboard and RAM. So I'm gonna ask the poll for a gaming build. especially since we're on a locked processor, I am willing to go down to like honestly, I would go down to H610 now that I look at what the budget is at. So, do we keep the... Oh, okay. Let's see. So, we're gonna see... what people vote for. My vote is to swap to a H610 just because we're working with 800 bucks here. We are very limited on what we can spend money on, and the motherboard coming in at 170 is killing our budget. Normal $800 builds, you should not be spending 170 on a motherboard. I was trying to see if we could fit it within budget, but now that we filled out everything else, I don't think it's a good choice to spend 170 within an $800 build. You would never do this in a typical ATX or micro ATX build. So let's see what people vote. Most of the votes coming in are to swap to the H610. Yeah, small form factor tax indeed, Gordon. Indeed. Yeah, for sure. Again, I'm assuming this is for a gaming build. If you're doing gaming, you have... Like, for an $800 budget, if you're doing a gaming PC build, you need to at least be spending $200, if not $250 to $300 on the graphics card. That's just the way the proportions work out. For gaming PC builds, the more money you throw into it, the further your performance is going to be carried. A faster processor and a DDR4 RAM or DDR5 RAM or faster RAM is only going to carry you so much. All of that could be negated with, like, if you slap in the fattest graphics card you can. Shane Eslick says, what about B450 and a B550? That's actually a good point. Let's take a... So I'm going to switch this out because that's most of the votes are to switch out the motherboard. Let's see what the cheapest motherboard is, and we're going to do a comparison if we were to switch platforms. Oh, we gotta change the RAM out too. So we gotta remove the memory here because that's locking in our motherboards. And we're gonna go to the cheapest motherboard we can find is this Asus. It does have some VRAM, or not VRAM, VRM coverage. Does it even have USB Type-C? There's no other pictures of this. This is like the most bare bones cheap motherboard you can find, already at $110. So we change this. How much money do we have left? And then we need to pick the memory. So let me choose the memory real fast. Yeah, we're gonna choose the cheapest. Where's the cheap stuff at? We gotta go 2x8. No. We're choosing. Where's the cheapest 10 nanosecond? Here we go. So 10 nanoseconds is what we're looking for in terms of true latency. Silicon Power 3200 CL16, 38 bucks. Oh man, we're actually saving almost $20 on RAM now. What is the cheapest 10? Oh, 3600 CL18, 35 bucks. Here it is. Neo Forza. I think this is what Jason was saying earlier. Is there no XMP on H610? Whoa. It supports XMP profiles. Okay, wait, what? Someone is saying that Steve from Gamers Nexus was showing something else. Let me see. First, there's no, well, I don't care about roll. I know XMP is technically, let me see, H610 XMP. I want to see if there's XMP set by okay, H610. Let me look at the BIOS video real quick on this. So here's an H610 motherboard that does support XMP right here. What motherboard is this? Does it? Yeah, this is a Asus Prime H610 MED4. Can this person please click on the XMP so I can see if it indeed... Yeah, it does support it. They were able to enable XMP. So... we should be good, right? Unless potatoes... Unless you were referring to something else. It's looking like we should be fine. With H610... Maybe it came in a later BIOS update or something. And also, I would not want to manually overclock. Manually overclocking and doing stuff with like RAM timings and stuff is such a huge pain in the butt. Do they show once they're in the system? I mean, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they did lock it out too, but from what I'm seeing across this and multiple Reddit threads, it looks like people are successfully running XMP on their H610 boards. Yeah, it's let's see, XMP. So it does support it. Yeah, according to this right here, on ASUS's direct website for this H610 board, if we look up XMP, supports Intel Extreme Memory Profile. So maybe, I don't know, how old was that Gamers Nexus video? Yeah, so H510 is LGA 1200, isn't it? So H610 is LGA 1700, which is 12th and 13th gen. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did add it. So I'm going to choose the H610 just for now, but we might go AMD. But look at the price difference now. We just changed the motherboard and down the RAM, and now we have $260 to play with the graphics card, which we could get some good stuff. Yeah, I'm thinking LGA 1700 does have XMP, which is fine. Thanks for bringing it up, though. That is stuff that, you know, it's good to double check, triple check. You don't want to be buying parts, assuming one thing or the other, and then having to return it, or being stuck with it. So, I do appreciate everyone who did bring up checking for XMP compatibility. So, oh no, dude. We're not going, we're thinking RX 6650 XT, hopefully. Now, the price here, we're going with motherboard. Let me look at the AMD side of things, because it would be nice to get a B450 or B550 board. So, we're coming in at 537 now. Let's see how much the motherboards are going to be the deciding factor here. So, we're going to choose a motherboard. Let's look for B550 ITX. 163. Oh, you're killing me, AMD. You are killing me with these motherboard prices. I mean, this is pretty much gonna... Yeah, we're not going with AMD. Unless we go... Is there A520 boards? There is an A... Okay, this is a tough... So the A520 board costs almost as much as the 8... So we're talking about AMD and Intel's lowest end offerings. So it's gonna affect which motherboard, which CPU you can choose. So what do you guys think? I'm gonna end the poll. So now we're gonna ask a new poll question. Do we go AMD or Intel? So AMD A520 motherboards or Intel H66 ITX. So, oh, I meant H610, not H660. I meant H610. The thing about, well, with AMD, you could potentially go all the way up to a 5800 X3D, even though I'm not sure if that would be recommended on a cheap A520 board. But you could go either way in this one. I think both AMD and Intel has good offerings. Both their motherboards are priced kind of crappily. We have to spend at least $100 for ITX, but they both have good processors around the $150, $160 price range. Which A520 specifically is going to be the ASRock Yeah, because the other one's 140 bucks. No way we're spending that much on a motherboard. But it's gonna be this ASRock, which also does have some VRM heatsink coverage. Also, a pretty basic board though. They're both equally basic. Though this one does have Wi-Fi. Yeah, so the Intel board has M.2 Wi-Fi slot, but no Wi-Fi. With an ITX build, Wi-Fi might be important for some people, actually. Some Asian guy says, what RAM do you have? The RAM that I chose for this is 3600 CL18 for 35 bucks from Neo Forza. We've got 3600 CL18. It's not the best, but it's pretty standard. Hey, what's up, Zach? How you doing? We are trying to build an $800 small form factor PC, and both Intel and AMD have very similar price ITX motherboards, so it's a wash either way. Though the AMD board, and yes, because ITX boards cost so much, we have to go down to A520 and H610. So yeah. Yeah. Most people are voting Intel right now. Not most people. It's actually almost not a 50-50 split, but pretty close race right now. Zach says he feels... Yeah, I think AMD is less frowned upon just because of how long the AM4 socket had, like, the lifespan was. Whereas H610, you get it for 2 generations worth of processors, and that's it. AMD, you could use a wide range of stuff, even though we are at the end of the AM4, you know, lifespan. A520 is as far as you're gonna go anyways. So, yeah. I might stick to the Intel because the board was a little bit cheaper. Because if we look back at the price of it wasn't that much cheaper. It was $5 cheaper. We could probably save on a 5600 though on the AMD side. AMD is very memory sensitive, but we're not using like really crappy memory. Yeah. Well, the CPU, it's gonna be slightly cheaper on AMD side of things. Like by like 10 to 15 bucks. Most people have voted for the H610 though, which I mistakenly put H660 in the poll. We got 69 votes, nice. H610 motherboards are a lot worse. I mean, unless we can get some more votes in, most people did vote for H610i. A520 will have that Wi-Fi though. Yeah, see, look at the price between these two here. This one does have Wi-Fi. Let me look at this one again. We'll take a look at it on Amazon. What does this board have? No USB-C header at all, and no USB-C on the rear I/O. Let's take a look at the A520 board. A520 board. We do... Okay. Alright. I know the votes came in a certain way. Look at the rear I/O here. We at least get USB-C. We do have Wi-Fi on the A520. And then we get the ability to potentially use the 5800X3D, which I think would actually be pretty good, considering like that's the end game processor for this. Yeah, now that I'm checking like the actual like ports and stuff, I am thinking we have to go AMD. Too bad you guys can't change your votes, because I think most people would change it as well. Could the mobile handle a 5800X3D? It actually, I wonder if there's let's look that up. I guarantee you there's somebody who has done that A520 motherboard. I guarantee you there's someone who has done this. Alright, is this going to be a real or fake benchmarks channel? So we do have... Oh my goodness. Do I trust this? I don't know if I trust this. this looks a little sus. Yeah, is there no actual testing with this? 5950X on the A520. I mean, you got Brian from Techiest City. Let's see. I trust Brian's charts, so we can compare. And the hard thing here is, though, Brian is probably using a full-size A520 board, not an ITX one, which, you know, different motherboards from different manufacturers and models can have different performance results. But 5950X, which you could argue is even crazier than 5800X3D, and we're looking at performance in games. First of all, the A520 is somehow beating the X570 board. What else results does he have on here? Geekbench 5. Has anyone seen this video? Shadow of the Tomb Raider. The A520 is not performing that much worse. Let me see any other retesting time. So what do you do? So he said it was running hot. Okay. I would have to listen to this on audio, but I'm okay, the A520 bolts did come in ahead. I think still we were comparing an 8610. People are saying the A520 may not be able to handle like a, let's say, 5800X3D. But it's not like the 8610 is going to be able to handle like an i9 or an i7 1270K or whatever we throw in there that well either. They're both going to have probably some power delivery issues, some temperature issues. So there's on an even playing field in that regard. But the A520 does have that Wi-Fi. It does come in a little bit more expensive, but not too much more. We could handle that. And it does have USB Type-C. It just feels like the more like overall feature-filled board. So that's what we're gonna go with. So we're gonna go with that. Now we get to pick the processor, which if we pick a low enough processor, we get more GPU money, right? So the cheapest processor we can go, we're not gonna go with no Ryzen 4100. We're not gonna go with the 4500 either. 5500 is $100. We get a 5500, we could fit in a really fat graphics card. The 5600 starts at $140, which is a bit cheaper than the 12400 we were looking at. I think the 5600 is the way to go. Wow, and the 5600X is definitely not worth it. It's coming out at $166. So we've got $140. Now let's take a look. Decline. Okay, let me take a look at the overall budget. This is what the switch of motherboard, RAM, and CPU comes in at. We have $280 for a graphics card, and everything else, this is an ITX build, small form factor. We got the Lian Li Q58. We got a 500 watt power supply. We might have to up that to 650 watt depending on the graphics card that we can find. We can't change the PSU to ATX. We determined from the start that for small form factor, we have to use the case that is actually have a small footprint and not one of those halfway to micro ATX ITX cases. So, you guys, there is no off brand, and we have to use PCPartPicker too. I'm not gonna go dig on some random eBay used listing. If we choose a power supply for small form factor. Wait, why are they showing me all this stuff? The NR200 does not fit a full-size ATX, does it? Am I forgetting something? If we donate, can we pick the case to Smash TV Network? No, do not donate to try to pick a case. Yeah, it doesn't fit it. So why is PCPartPicker not flagging this? Interesting. Yeah, so we have this Lian Li. Oh, it's not the NR200, sorry. It's the Lian Li Q58. Let me look this up again. But I wouldn't think this would fit an ATX power supply. Unless I've never built in one of these yet, though. It is a very small case. Oh, wait, SFX and up to 160 millimeter. Oh, did we just save a lot more money? The Q58 does fit some ATX power supplies, like limited length ones. Yeah, and I would totally consider this still an ITX. The footprint is not like as big as a micro ATX. All right, good call on whoever caught that. I was still kind of thinking that we had the NR200 in here, so I know that one for sure does not fit ATX. All right, we might be in range of a 6700 XT. Let's get this power supply chosen. Here we go. Okay, now we want to pick something that's not complete crap, but power supplies are kind of expensive right now. So for a 6700, if we're gonna aim for that, we're gonna want at least like a 650 watt power supply. So let's take a look at what we got. Anyone have the tier list handy? Because off the top of my head, let me see. BM2, but how cheap? Oh, the Thermaltake Smart BM2. Yeah, for 650 for 50 bucks. I'm okay with C tier. C tier power supplies to me. I mean, come on, this build is under $1,000. It's fine, so long as it doesn't blow up the computer. Is that the only? What else do we have nearby though? We do have something like Raid Max 700 watts for not much more. Let's see, what else do we have? 600 watt. The BM2, is that gonna be the best? How much more is a 750 watt gonna cost? The CX750M. That one's also a C/B tier depending on the model. 75. Wait, how much was the BM2? 50. Okay, yeah, we have to pick this one. We have to pick it because there's a there's a promo code. Okay. So we're sitting at $468. We have almost 340 bucks for a graphics card. I'm pretty confident a 6700 XT on a non-crappy power supply should be able to work with 600 watts. Let's look at what graphics card prices has gone up. There are no more $200 6600s. They're starting at like $230, $240 right now. So let's take, oh my goodness, this list. You're killing me here. How could we sort this? Let's just sort by price first of all, because we know we're gonna spend at least $300 on it. We're gonna spend at least $300 or around there. Actually, they started at 200 to see the RX. Why can't we pick by generation? So we're gonna pick those ones, and then we're gonna pick 3060 Ti's, 37, up to 3070, and that's pretty much gonna be it. All right. The cheapest. Let me go down to like even under 200 bucks. The cheapest, more modern card within the last generation is going to be a 6600 at 235. So the prices has definitely gone up on these. There's like a squeeze in the market right now because both AMD and Nvidia has not given lower to mid-end offerings. So people who can't afford like the $800, 4070 Ti or 7900 XT, they have to look towards these older cards. So why not raise the prices of these older cards? Because people have no other choice anyways. Like, we used to see these going for like 190 on Newegg with the promo code all the time. Now it's up to 230. No, we have quite a bit of money. I was just looking at the low end. We definitely have around 350 to play with, and that's gonna get us only a 6600 XT? Why? Come on. How far do we have to go for 6700 XT? That's 360 bucks right here. That is the cheapest 6700 XT. We're gonna choose it. What is the total? Is gonna be 828. But we're at 828, but we've got small form factor, and we have 6700 XT. It looks like the cheapest one was this $360 one. We could come in under budget if we change it to the Ryzen 5 5500. That's correct, HH257. But one of my tips for people who are trying to build PCs within certain budget ranges, give yourself a soft cap and a hard cap. And what I mean by that is a soft cap is just a number you target. But like, so for this case, we could say $800 is the soft cap. Give yourself a hard cap where if the situation arises where you can move parts around, or if there's a slightly better deal at a barely, just out of range, give yourself a hard cap saying, you know what, if it makes sense, I will go up to a maximum of 850. Because that's the situation we're in right now. You can either take this build as it is for $830, or you downgrade the 5600 to say 40 bucks to a 5500, and you come in definitely within budget. It would really be up to you. So we're gonna ask a poll, because we love doing polls tonight. Which do you go for? 830 build with the Ryzen 5600. $800, 40 bucks, so it'd be $790 build with the Ryzen 5500. I think I know most people are gonna vote for, but honestly, it depends on what situation you're in, right? Some people, all they have is, let's say, 800 bucks. This isn't even counting tax, but we never include tax because everyone has different taxes. But either way, some people, they are already stretching as far as they can to that $800. So they're simply not going to be able to afford the Ryzen 5600. They're going to have to go with 5500, which still is going to offer great performance with the 6700 XT. But if you can stretch it, you can get the 5600 in the build. What about the CPU cooler? We don't have extra money to spend on a CPU cooler. I mean, technically, you could put a $20 cooler on here, but we're gonna assume, yeah, the Wraith Stealth Cooler works perfectly fine with the 5600 at stock settings, which we will be running at because we are in the A520. Or if you put a 5500 in there, the Wraith stock cooler works too. Let me take a look at the CPU coolers. What do they put the $20 Amazon ones on here? The tower coolers? They don't. I don't know why they don't. Like, why do we not see the Vetroo V5 and the ID cooling, SE214 or whatever on here? PCPartPicker is definitely screwing some people over by not showing those great tower coolers for $20. Shane Eslick, how about an i3? Yeah, so you could go with the i3 12100F, but then we would have to swap the motherboard again. Your two options are going to be either for AMD or Intel, because we're going to fit the 6700 XT in here. It's going to be the 12100F, which comes in at around $106 from what we saw earlier, or the $94 5500. Or, this $140 5600. Oh, will those coolers not fit the case? Is that why they're not showing them? Good point, good point. Yeah. I feel like... Let me see this. I'm not sure if they won't fit the case. Let me look up this, specifically. Some of those tower coolers aren't that tall. Let me look at the, up to 2 long radiator. Okay. Come on. Where's the cooler height? Cooler height. How? cooler, CPU cool. Oh, 67 millimeters. Oof. Oof, that's rough. Okay, let's see. What's the Vetroo V5 height? Why is everything in inches? You're killing me here. $67? I'm trying to think. Oh, that's why. This is using a GPU riser cable. That's why. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking, if you have to fit a graphics card in there, that's a good amount of distance for height. But this is using a riser. This is a riser cable only case. So, yeah, we do not have room for the CPU cooler at all. So yeah, we're using the stock cooler in this case, which is fine. So, what are we... Yeah. I mean, this seems like a pretty solid build. Nothing that we can... I mean, you have to cut corners in some areas. I feel like this is still going to give crazy performance for around 830 bucks. And that's not even factoring the fact, the point that we have a SFX small form factor build. How do I share this? I'm just going to put this in the description in case anyone wants to take a look at it. $800-ish SFF PC build with RX 670 XT. Bam. Around $800-ish. All right. Raj Patel. Yeah, so the thing is, our case and power supply here is 80 plus 50, 130 bucks. Getting the NZXT H1 for $200 from Best Buy would knock it 70 bucks more and bringing this to like a $900 PC build. So that wouldn't work. How tall is the stock cooler? It is definitely less than 67 millimeters, which is 6.7 centimeters. But let's take a look. AMD Wraith Stealth cooler height. 54 millimeters is what, let's see. Can I get another source on that? 17, yep, 54 from multiple sources. LAN OC and custom PCs. What did somebody Yeah, in a lot of cases, AIO is what you're going to use for a small form factor just because you don't need this big chunky metal heatsink sticking right out of the CPU. You can get a very discrete small pump block that routes the liquid to a radiator elsewhere. But it's a 5600 that this case has some airflow, at least for the GPU. CPU temps, I don't see it being an issue unless you're, again, running freaking torture tests Prime 95 on it. For gaming, CPUs are very underutilized in a lot of modern games, where the graphics is more intense. CPU load is rarely above 50%, if not closer to like 20 to 30% in terms of CPU utilization. So, yeah, I've used the 5600 with this Wraith Stealth cooler before with like zero issues. What's your thoughts of swapping with i3 and getting an aftermarket cooler and OCing the chip? How much cheaper was it gonna be though? as opposed to going with the stock 5600. So the motherboard was $5 difference. So motherboard's gonna be the same price. The i3 costs. Let me see. The only issue, Demon Mitt, is the case. We would have to swap the case out, and I mean, I guess that would be, that could be an option. What are you talking about? B clock overclocking? Which motherboard CPU combo would you do the overclocking with? Would it work with the this H610i? Because the CPU is gonna be cheaper. ASRock boards. How cheap was the ASRock board? I didn't see the price on it. We'd have to look at the price. So let's take a look at that. Let's just entertain that idea. So you said ASRock. You said the ASRock, so it would be this $125 board, right? Or you said all ASRock H610s are able to overclock with like a BIOS update? How much of an overclock can you really do though? I think I remember, was it Brian or someone else who made a similar video? But here's 12100F. Here's an H610. We're at $100, but we don't have a cooler on it yet. So we add in a cooler, which we don't have many options to. Unless we change out the case, then we can get a taller cooler, apparently. So let me change this out. We're just taking a look at a different alternative route for this. And we're still trying to keep it small form factor, because that's the reason we're doing any of this in the first place, and limiting ourselves. Oh, you said the B660. Okay, yeah. I'll pick a B660 board. We're gonna pick a mini ITX. We're gonna go with the. We still have to change the case out, no matter what. There's just no clearance if you want to overclock the chip and get decent cooling. What the heck? Why is it not? Okay, yeah. So Demon Mitt. So we're gonna have to change the case out, but by changing the case, the Lian Li specifically was able to support the cheaper ATX PSUs. We can't go at NR200 or something like that. We would have to go with like this kind of some of these larger, like Magnum Gear Neo Mini V2, because that would allow us to keep our power supply. And we need a B660 board. Where's the cheapest B660? B660 for 120 ASRock. That's probably the one that you were specifically talking about. We're at 766. And then what are we going with here? Cooler wise, we only have $35 left to work with. What is the fattest $35 cooler we can throw on this thing? They're all around the same performance range. Vetroo V5 is gonna be. I mean, Isn't Vetroo V5? It's only 4 heat pipes, right? It's pretty similar to like the Thermalright Assassin and things like this. Let me see. Let me take a look real quick. Yeah, did the Vetroo V5 just all of a sudden increase in price because it got super popular after the Gamers Nexus video? What are we looking at here? Oh no, this is a 5 heat pipe. Okay. Yeah. So it's 5 versus 4. And it does look like it is a slightly bigger cooler. Not that much, but the more metal we can get, the better. So, but man, that's such a premium to pay for an extra heat pipe. Going from 20 to $35, that's getting close to double. How about this one? This ID Cooling SE914 looks really chunky. What are we looking at though in terms of 4 heat pipe? Lots of metal though. Like way thicker Just like a way thicker cooler. So let's just choose this one. Should be able to still get like a decent overclock on it. So this build comes in under $800. Now we have a B660 board, which does lend you to pop in a better CPU down the road. You'd feel way more comfortable popping in like an i7, maybe even an i9 into this over popping in like a Ryzen 7 or Ryzen 9 into an A520. Let's now take a look at let's see. Let's take a look at 12100F OC versus I don't even know if anyone's gonna have results for this specifically. Oh, they do have overclocked in stock. Nice! I'm telling you, testing games, this channel, such a lifesaver for quick references. Okay, so they do have overclocked. So we're gonna take a look here. So stock to stock, the 5600X is beating it in Cyberpunk. Let's look at the overclock results. Oh, where is the overclocked? All down here. Overclocked, the 12100F is still coming in trailing a little bit, but it's pretty much neck and neck now. Okay, remember though, with the 12100F, it is coming in $30 cheaper than the 5600X build with a better motherboard for a better upgrade path. Oh, is it DDR5? Let me see. Does it say it's DDR5 on here? It is DDR5. Why? Why? Alright, let's see. We can look up the specific motherboard. Some people are thinking the motherboard cannot overclock. But Demon Mitt knows what he's talking about because he builds systems all the time. So he must have already seen this. Overclock 12100F. This has got to be a topic. B-clock overclocking on the ASRock 660M ITX AC. Okay. I don't have that motherboard. Probably no. Let's see. Good thoughts. Budget. ASRock boards have bad VRMs. E6s are the cheapest and are expected to have entry-level VRMs. Okay. But who cares about that if we're not going to be overclocking the crap out of these things. Just like a modest overclock. Hey, what's up, Citrus? It's been 8 months. How you doing? Yeah. Demon Mitt, can you find any evidence of someone overclocking successfully on this board? Not just the fact that ASRock boards can do it, but this specific one. Also, did we pick the DDR4 board? We did, right? Otherwise, the compatibility things would have gone off. Yeah, this all works. Yeah, here's the thing. If you have to go out and buy a more expensive motherboard just to overclock a 12100F, then it's starting to be like, okay, we're defeating, like, it defeats the purpose. If we can find a cheap B660 motherboard like this one that's only 120 bucks that we know can overclock the 12100F, then it makes it a very compelling counter to the 5600X. I'm not seeing anything though about people successfully overclocking with this board. I'm still gonna keep looking. PCIe 4.0, here we go. Can you overclock? Overclock. I don't need overclock. Overclock. Yeah. Anything about overclocking? OC. B clock. I'm not seeing it. So yeah, Demon Mate, if you can find it, because I'm not finding it on first. Unless, have you done it? Have you overclocked with this specific board? Because it'd be hard to make a recommendation unless we knew 100%. Also, everyone is getting their membership message. And I think you guys became members like right when it became announced or available. So it must be like Craig Lilly's, like I think the OG first member who never dropped off. So you would need a special DDR5 B660M board. Is that the case? Yeah, because I mean, you would think that if this budget board is able to overclock, we would find way more results just from a quick search. So I think Demon Mate is probably looking that up right now. So yeah, assuming that you can't overclock, then I mean, this could still be a decent buy. Let's go back to the benchmark results. So I'm gonna write off the DDR5 versus DDR4 performance just because I don't think the memory is gonna make that huge of a difference compared to the fact that we have a freaking sort of CPU bottleneck situation here, pairing with a 6700XT. Yeah, so Potatoes has been saying it does seem like a PCI Gen 5 thing to be able to overclock. I'll look into it more because that is interesting if you can overclock on a cheap board, but it doesn't sound like we have confirmation that we can or not. But just let's go back. Okay, let's look at stock performance. Again, we have 109 versus 126 FPS. In Dying Light 2, we're looking at 173 versus 175. So we're already kind of side by side performance here. Forza Horizon 5, very modern, demanding AAA game. 177 versus 184. So the 12100F, even though it's gonna come in with lower threads, in gaming, it's not gonna fall too far behind. Here's 200 versus 230 FPS, but again, I don't know how many people are complaining about that difference. For me, to make it go under budget, this could be worth it. Because remember, there was a $30 price difference between the build with a 12100F versus a 5600X. It would be even cheaper if we chose a H board. If we chose a H10 board, it'd be $40 price difference between the two. If you're running at 1080p, again, like I said earlier in the stream, it's not the fact that you would call it like a hard bottleneck, but you could see performance gains going to a higher end processor using the same graphics card. Is it a huge problem? No. But could there be FPS gains to be made if you upgraded the CPU? Yes. Here's Hitman 143 versus 157. Flight Simulator 75 versus 89. So yeah, both processors I think would be fine. And the overclock results, it's looking like everything is gonna be. This one has a 10 FPS difference. That's less than 5% though. 226 versus 233, also like pretty minor. 150 versus 162, and then Flight Simulator is 85 versus 92 FPS. So I think a case could be made for both processors and platforms. I mean, looking at the 1% low, like if you care about the 1% lows, 0.1% and all that, both of them are very playable. I mean, I don't know about y'all, but like the difference between let's just pick a random thing in here. 33 versus 36 on the 0.1% lows, and 60 FPS about on the 1% lows. I don't think you could visually like notice that. You'll notice it in comparison to if the 1% lows were like 100 or something. But between these two, if I gave you these systems, took off the overlays, and said, can you tell me if this is a 12100F or a 5600X system, you're not going to be able to tell me the difference just playing the game. Like, they are that close in average 0.1 and 1% lows that you're not going to be able to tell the difference. Yeah, that's essentially how it works out too. Shane Eslick summarized it just perfectly fine. 750 to 800, you get the i3. If you have a little bit more to spend, up to 850, you can easily fit in a 5600. Oh, this 5600X? Good point. It is, but you could also overclock it easily because, wait, no, we had an A520 board. No, you're right. Yeah, so the performance is going to be even closer than this. It sounds like Demon Man is very on the Intel side of things. Shauner, Demon Intel fanboy now? He was pushing kind of hard for it. Harder than anybody else. Why? Jack of all trades. Yeah, no, I do not have B-Die in my system. I do not think B-Die is worth it. I just have the rare, typical 3600 CL18 stuff. Is this a thing from the other Discord servers or something that you've seen, Shauner? Because you hate AMD. Okay, what was the question? Would pairing a 4070 Ti, so when you think of a 4070 Ti, you gotta think of it as if it's kind of like a 3090 with a 12600K. Would it bottleneck the CPU? Yeah, there are situations where, like, especially if you're playing at 1080p, trying to get like, 300 plus FPS or something, you could get better performance out of the CPU. Do I think that it is a bad bottleneck and that you would have to upgrade? No. If you have a 12600K with some older graphics card and you upgrade it to a 4070 Ti, I think you could sit tight and be happy with that pairing. So. Yeah, it's funny because I think a lot of people would actually look at the i3 and the 6700 XT and think, oh my god, that's gonna be a huge CPU bottlenecking issue, just because you're starting with the 6700 XT, you're starting to get into like upper mid-range cards, and a lot of people don't have faith in like the Ryzen and the i3s, but I think it's just because it's based off of like previous generations. Like the new gens, because they're hyper-threaded and they have more cores, not the i3 specifically, but like the i5s and stuff like that. New gen stuff from Intel within the, like, ever since 10th gen is just like a world of difference compared to 9th gen and prior. Yeah, we could take it. We could have easily gotten an i5 12400 with a 6700 XT, 6650 XT. That would have actually reduced the price by almost like $70. So there was definitely room for it. But for someone who's primarily gaming, especially at higher, like a 1440p gamer, you're gonna squeeze out the most performance with the graphics card budget. But yeah. If you're doing other stuff, if you're streaming, you could also leverage the graphics card. So I think there's definitely a situation for either or. But okay, what else? Let's see. We can check out if people submit stuff to. Oh, let me see. Okay, let's see. Oh, okay, stream submissions. We do have stuff in the stream submissions. Okay, let's see. What do you think of this build? 550 small form factor, and it's perfect. Let me see. This is the perfect small form factor build. All right, we got 550 bucks, 12100. Is this gonna be an integrated graphics build? It looks like it is. When am I gonna start working out again, Dan? Dan, how can you tell if I'm working out or not? No, I need to get back into it. I've been raiding too much on WoW. Okay, so this $550 PC, we've got why do you have such a powerful oh, it's because no. This has a 1660 Super with a custom price in it. So what are we looking at here? First of all, HP OEM 1660 Super. I think this is definitely a better deal. 1660 Supers are, I don't think, going for this cheap. You would have to get a pretty good find on that. But let's take a look. Graphics card prices have been shifting all over the place, mostly upwards, but let's see what the cheapest 1660 Super is that is in working condition. And then we will base it off of that. Buy it now. The cheapest one on eBay is from Greece for 130 after shipping, 137 after shipping, 140 bucks. So $90 is definitely leaning on a pretty good deal. Oh yeah, the 750 watt power supply is, so all this is already purchased, so you're gonna have a hard time finding a $75 Supernova 750 GM in the new market anyways. You could probably find one used if you're okay with used power supplies, but this would be a hard find, or it would require a B stock find to get this. You definitely don't need 750 watts for a 1660 Super, but this build looks like it has already been purchased. So overall, with the 12100, with the 1660 Super in this small form factor build, in this what's the D19? This is a really good price for what they built. This is a K39 AliExpress D19. Interesting. Yeah, so pretty simple case. I think this is the case anyways. They don't actually have a link to it on PCPartPicker. So yeah, 20, where is it? They were able to get that case for 65, okay. What else was there in the Discord? 5, oh yeah. 5 heat pipe, fix the downdraft cooler. Yeah, so downdraft if you want to have extra cooling on the VRMs. The ID cooling, flat cooler, pretty much everything else comes out to 811 with still keeping the 67 NZXT. So here's the alternative one that Demon posted in the stream submissions. And then this was their build. Let's see if we can get a good zoom in. This is which person is this who's watching the stream? Gab. This is a very small, nice looking build. 550 bucks with this dedicated graphics card. Nice. I like it. Alright, what other build and setup submissions have we had recently? Demon Mint with this post 2 days ago. Let's take a look at some of these pictures. So what do we have here? We have an i9 3900K, very high-end build. 420 AIO. Thermal, he put the contact frame on it, Z790, Asus Pro Art, 64 gigabytes of 6400 CL32 memory, 3 terabytes of SSD storage. We've got, let me zoom in more. RTX 4090, This build, I mean, I don't know how much you got that 4090 for, but 4090s are still 1600, aren't they? If not more. RTX 4090 from does Best Buy even have any in stock? Best Buy out of stock. Of course. Of course. Yeah, 4090s is probably the most popular out of stock. You can get maybe for 1700, you can get the gigabyte version. See details, check stores. Unavailable, okay? So doesn't look like we find it there. On Amazon, RTX 4090s are at least 2000, it's looking like. Oh no, we can get a PNY one for 1680. So close to $1700. So this build, how much is this build? Unless Demon Mint got his like crazy good deals from his secret black market source of parts. But the graphics card alone in this is worth around 1700, assuming it's brand new, if not more. For the, it depends on the model, but this is what in a 1200 watt power supply. And then we got Igor80 who submitted this. So they painted their EVGA card red. Look at that paint on it. I am kind of deathly afraid of painting stuff. Oh, we got some Harley Quinn figurine, pump block LCD, SSD, RGB, plexiglass. This is a very Harley Quinn dedicated build, but painting the graphics card shroud is something that I just am not super comfortable doing. I've painted things before for PC custom projects and stuff, but for some reason the graphics card is a no-go for me. Have we seen this exact Harley Quinn PC? We saw a different Harley Quinn one previously. This one looks different though. I'm not sure if we saw that one. Let me see. There was like a whole Harley Quinn dedicated room. If I can find it. I thought that was a different person. Shauner says, I'm gonna paint my 38. Oh yeah, Shauner, by the way, how's your build doing? Do you have all the parts now? I forgot how long the cable mod stuff was supposed to be pushed out till, but have you started the assembly process? Where was that Harley Quinn one? I'm not seeing it in here. Oh, setup on the rig, same okay, so Igor did already share that. Okay, got it. Guys, I have a bad memory, by the way. Way too many stuff to like look through and remember. Cables just shipped. You haven't started building, man. It's been like how many months now? Probably like a month and a half. Okay, so 4070. Oh, this is the Optiflex 4070. The exact I built with this exact one. Got a bunch of these on sale on eBay bid. Soon they're clearing out. Okay, what do we got here? Intel i7 6700, 16 gigs of RAM. You put in a 1050 Ti low profile. Okay. And you're using the bare bones 240 watt PSU. But, I mean, gaming, the definition of gaming on a super low budget right here. This, right? Look at that. Power supply. Why, Dell? Why? Why couldn't you keep it like the old Optiplex mini towers that you could slot in a standard ATX power supply in? Why did you have to eventually switch to these? Hey, what's up, Anthony? How you doing? Painted GPUs lose resale value. How has anyone out there painted a graphics card and then afterwards stripped the paint down to resell it or to restore it to its original version. And if you have, does that mess with the plastic or rubberized coating on the GPU at all? If you use Plasti Dip, I think you can peel it, but I'm not sure a lot of people are using Plasti Dip here. I feel like a lot of people are just using Rust-Oleum and just painting on their shrouds. Alright, what else do we have here in terms of anything that catches my eye more than usual? Barrio, this is a new name. They got their setup with the Ryzen 7 5700X 3070 Ti, okay. And here is their setup with that Daft Punk. Yeah, that looks like the Daft Punk. One of the dudes with the helmet. Oh no, it's that Darth. This from the new. What is this Darth guy? No, it's Kylo Ren. He's not even a Darth. What am I saying? Not a Star Wars fan right here. That's Kylo Ren. From here, the helmet definitely looked like one of the Daft Punk dudes. But I guess I should have seen from... I thought it was like Daft Punk infused with like Darth Maul or Darth Vader. But seeing a higher detailed picture of the mask, yeah. It's Kylo Ben. It is... Okay, never mind. I'm not going to mention it. Remember when Kylo Ren took his shirt off and then people were hecka memeing on him? The dude is wide. Alright. We've got a submission here. Onpru, who I think is somebody in... You should know what did Kylo... I mean, I've seen the Star Wars movies. Unless he did something else that I'm not aware of. So, Jax BB, is this you? Are you Onpru? Because this is the latest submission that I see on here. We do have... So, budget build for $300. You got a RX 6... Wow, you got a 5600 XT in there with the i7 6700. Pretty solid combo. Wait, also some parts I already had. Which parts? Because you have the power supply SSD, maybe the case and the cooler fans. Is this really $300 if you're using parts you already had? Or did you factor in their market value into it? Remember, my biggest pet peeve. Using parts that you already have on hand and saying it costs $0 when you give your total build budget. Unless you like lay it out and make it clear, which I guess you did here. So you're fine because you said you already had some parts on hand. You already had. But let's take a look at this build. Kind of hard to see here. We have two of the same angles. I would have liked to see a shot where it shows the entire build with none of the case cut off. And then maybe like a downward shot into it. Because we both have the same like isometric angle here. And we can't see any much more between these two pictures. I want to see what's going on inside in terms of cable management and stuff like that. So, Zachary Barney, link is in the description for the Discord, which I think I should probably just link it anyways. Okay, let me see if I can show you guys a sneak preview. We are getting 2 hours into stream. I do need to go hang out with Melissa in a second here. Let me see if I can get a nice teaser preview for you guys, because I'm very excited about this weekend's video. Let me see. Okay. So, you guys should look forward to this build, this video, hopefully this weekend. Oh my god, there's so much editing to go into this. But, I built a PC with my mom. This is the first... it's not the first time she's been on the channel, but she definitely is not featured on the channel much at all. She's been in one of the LAN party videos when she helped cook some pho. Plus, if y'all remember one of the OG videos of this channel, one of the most OG videos of this channel was of, like, giving my mom flowers. for Valentine's Day. Those are like the two only times she's been featured on the channel. Yeah, my mom is on a budget. She loves shopping at like Ross and TJ Maxx and Marshalls and all those types of stores. You know, where you can get basically name brand stuff for much cheaper because it makes their way to those stores. But yeah, she built a PC for the first time. So that was really fun to incorporate her like fully into a video. And she got jokes, man. She has jokes, so it's gonna be a fun one. And yes, 100% she does own a Louis Vuitton bag. Even being a mom on a budget, even being the fact that, you know, we grew up with not that much money, Vietnamese, Asian moms somehow find a way to get the Louis Vuitton bags. The real ones. Yeah, my mom worked hard for it. She definitely did deserve it. She deserves the world and everything, so I'm trying to work towards giving her that. But yeah, so this is really fun. Yeah, she helped roast the onion on the stovetop for the LAN party spa. Okay, LAN party stories March. Isaac Hep. March LAN party stories. It's actually not March. It's more of the Texas LAN party story need to come out. To be honest, I still haven't touched that yet. I know I'm a horrible person. But once I get started on LAN party videos, I do make way more progress. It's just one of those things where I'm mentally rearranging how I want to edit that video. And then once I start to sit down, I'm going to knock it out. Hopefully, this is a big hopefully, but I'm trying to get it out before the LAN party that we actually have here in Washington. So, yeah. Is RTX 4070 coming soon? Because I'm waiting for it. Zachary Barney, let me see if there's any, has there been any RTX 47 rumor release? Is there any rumored release date? It is estimated to release April 2023, so 2 months from now from Dexerto. Anything else with spring? Yeah, when I hear spring, I think of April. March isn't spring, right? Is that still winter or is that considered spring? But yeah, if I'm hearing spring from multiple PC tech news outlets, I'm thinking April, May. So 4070 still might be a little bit out. WCCF Tech says launching in Q2. Q2 is definitely starting in April. Yeah, I've been seeing. I think Hardware Unboxed said that they were working on a 4070 laptop video, and it was so bad that they scrapped it. And they linked to a video from Jared's Tech that basically showed the 4070 being the same as a 3070 Ti, which is kind of a sad generational uplift. Oh yeah, for people in Australia, your seasons are different. So March is autumn for you. $4070 Ti 4070 Ti's are going for around their MSRP. Best Buy might be the best place to find it. Let me see, RTX 4070 Ti. I think the cheapest one I saw there was $830. Yeah, you can get a Ventus model, which is the one that I used in the video actually, for $830. There's some for $850. Here's $820 actually for the PNY version, the Accelerate. So yeah, 4070 Ti's, definitely don't pay a premium for them. You can get them very close to MSRP. Which for reference, MSRP is $800. I don't know why Newegg I would have expected. See, this is why I'm kind of saying Best Buy has some sleeper deals, man. Best Buy, you should definitely consider when trying to buy like components versus Newegg or Amazon, because I think they price match too. I don't remember if they price match everything on Amazon, but Best Buy does have some price matching. So yeah, Best Buy, if you need like same day parts, because they do have like some parts on hand, but doing order for pickup too from their online selection is huge. Best Buy is becoming more and more competitive over time. But yeah, Newegg, if you're looking for the cheapest RTX 4070 Ti, we do have the tough one for 800 bucks. So, I mean, I wouldn't really... Oh, this is ETA 223, so it does look like it's backordered. But look, you can find it. It's an AIB card. I think they all have to be AIB, right? There was no Founders Edition model. But this one is actually at MSRP. It's a more basic card, but you know what? I was never into buying premium coolers or premium aftermarket cards, so... Alright. Shane S. like, it is your birthday next Wednesday? Okay, so we will be streaming during that. Let's see if I can remember it. I probably will forget just because I have the crappiest memory, Shane. But definitely let us know next stream. We can wish you a happy birthday. To one of the OG longtime channel supporters. If it's actually, what am I saying? It's gonna be your birthday. You're probably gonna hopefully celebrate or do something that's not watching the stream. You probably have better things to do on your birthday than watch a stream, unless you're saving it for the weekend. So if you're here, oh, your stream is Thursday. Yep. The time shift. I thought you meant our Wednesday, but you mean your Wednesday, our Thursday. Okay. If I had money for full upgrade, get 30 series or 6800 XT. Would you throw a 3080 for the win into a small form factor? May just do a server build. Yeah, I don't see any reason about that. The only issue is you have two pretty power hungry, heat producing things. So unless your small form factor case and cooler is up for the task, it might run very warm. Demon Mint, you bought one of the PNY models? The 821 from Best Buy? Did you buy it from Best Buy or did you buy it somewhere else? Did you buy it from one of your used underground market overclocking ring? All right. I think that's gonna be it though. Let me check one more time. Yeah, I think we've got everything there. I'm gonna spend the last 5 minutes just chilling, answering questions, reading chat. About to switch my Z73 for a Noctua D15S. Yeah, AIOs are cool. Like literally, especially for small form factor PCs. But and they look better. Actually, I don't know. Aesthetically, last poll of the night before we end this. Do you guys, assuming form factor is not an issue, you know, you got a standard case that could pretty much fit everything. Aesthetically, do you like AIOs or do you like a fat heatsink on there in the PC build better? Custom, okay, we're not considering custom loops here. We're just talking about AIO, because custom loop, you can't. That's not a fair comparison. Obviously, hard tubing, you know, custom bent and all of that. There's no way anything can compete with that. But AIOs and tower style coolers, you know, they're both out of the box, pretty quick installation, no custom cutting or anything needed. So most people like AIOs more, according to the votes so far, but still a low number of votes so far. But Isaac, haven't jumped on the AIO train yet. I mean, you're not, I don't think you're missing too much, especially if space isn't an issue. Like AIOs, You gotta plug in extra stuff. You gotta screw in extra fans and then screw it to the case. Yeah, you gotta hope the pump lasts its full lifetime without any manufacturer defects or recalls. There's just more plugs and stuff associated with an AIO over like a single tower cooler with 1 or 2 fans. Same price, so $820, right? At Best Buy? That's what I just saw. Unless it was more expensive on release or something. Craig Lilly says, I had an AIO. Now I have a Mugen 5B. No more leaking. So yeah, you got leaking, potential pump block issues, and then way more extra cables typically. Because you have to, like, you know, control not only the pump, but the multiple fans. So either or works. Also, installing the AIO, I find it way more annoying than even a tower cooler with a bracket. I just don't like installing AIOs. Big pet peeve. Huge pet peeve. Air cooler only has one point of failure, the fans. That is the exact reason why I am a huge fan of it. My AIO is making gurgling sounds a lot after 4 years. Yeah. Like Corsair, NZXT, all those, they come with these hubs too. So you get these like USB or fan hubs and controllers and to control all that fancy looking stuff, but cable management can be a nightmare on some of those types of builds. But yeah, it looks like people definitely prefer more than 2-to-1 the AIO over the fat tower style heatsinks. Yeah, Demon Mint charges an extra $50 on commission builds if they want an AIO in it. I mean, I can't blame you. I hate AIO installations. It adds so much time to an otherwise quick, you know, Vetroo V5 style build. No, tower air coolers, I don't think they're the worst to install at all. You got your fan clips, which, first of all, the fan doesn't even get screwed on to the tower. They get clipped on, which I've never had a problem with those. But also, it's typically, you get your mounting hardware on, which is the same with the AIO, except once that's on, it's usually 2 points of screw contact to get the actual tower onto the bracket. Whereas in AIO, you gotta mount the radiator, you gotta screw on the fans individually, you gotta make sure your tubing routing is correct, and then you gotta do your thumb screws. It feels like so much more work, typically. Your CryoRig R1 is the worst? Whoa. CryoRig is a name that I haven't heard for a while. Yo, CryoRig? Maybe I want to do a deep dive on that. Maybe next stream. Let me write that down. Let's see. Who is it that was talking about that? Some Asian guy with the CryoRig reference, which I feel like I've not seen a CryoRig sold at a decent price for many years now. You know, it's funny. I have some videos coming up working with Antec. The rise and fall and maybe the rise again of Antec. Their power supplies, actually, they have some pretty good power supplies. Their cases, they're starting to come out with more like modernized cases with the typical design features that you would like to see. But for a long time, Antec was pretty stagnant in their offerings. Jack of all trades posting in the Discord that they have a 16GB RX 750. What is that, like a special extra mining edition. CryoRig abandoned the US market and moved to EU. Yeah, I noticed that back in like 2018 or 19. Unfortunately, I used to love the M9i and M9a coolers. Oh my god, $20 for it. I mean, nowadays CryoRig wouldn't really be competitive because they don't have RGB, or they didn't have RGB at the time. But $20, the $20 cooler space is $20 to $25 is super saturated with these kind of lesser known smaller brands that are now making like big waves. You know, that CryoRig, if they ever came back with their same offerings, they wouldn't be competitive because their tower coolers were definitely smaller, though they cooled fine. But the last updated Antec case I built in was only last year. Unless that was 2 years ago. No, it was only last year. I felt like they could have offered more with it, Shauner. Like, it was one of the... Which case was it again? It was the one where I built... I updated one of my friend's PC builds that he gave to me before moving out of the country. It just felt like... It was a more expensive, but same feature-filled, like a Montech case. It had a premium price, but didn't have the premium features that I felt like a $90 or $100 case should have. Antec, back in like, I'm talking like, you know, the 2010s-ish. Antec, with their, what were the Antec, like the 900, 600, 300, that entire series of cases. Those ones were like the most popular selling cases on Newegg at the time. And now you barely hear about Antec 900. Yeah, that's it. I thought there was more than the name, but there wasn't. The Antec 900, Antec 1200, Antec 600. Those were like the best selling cases on Newegg at the time. And now I feel like you barely hear about them, but I mean, I'm going to be working with them. So they are working with creators, getting their name kind of more back out there, which I think is good. Always good to have more competition for PC cases. Yeah, like some of these cases, like this. I don't know how y'all feel about something like this, which, I get they're trying to do something different. I get that, you know, they have modernized the case with, I don't know, whatever the heck you would consider this. But to me, stuff like this isn't it. And this is what I'm seeing when I look up Antec on like some of the top searches. So, and then this, like, there are other better DF cases. I don't know, something, to me, this design is definitely not it for me. They have a lot of weird looking cases, but they also have a lot of good ones too. They've been coming out with good ones. Like this one right here. Like the P20C. This is, you know, very standard, run-of-the-mill case. Ventilation, thermoglass, everything else included. I think some of these have included RGB fans, but some of their more recent offerings, like this one too, DF600 Flux. I mean, I guess this one doesn't look horrible, but the D700 Flux, this one, I think they could. The case itself isn't too bad. The wavy front, it's a personal preference thing, but I think they should. To be more competitive with the likes of Montech and stuff, they need to kind of lower their prices a bit. Yeah, they all perform well. A lot of, I mean, as long as the case has fans in the front, a rear exhaust fan, and like, you know, a mesh panel, it's gonna perform fine. It's just some of these cases, aesthetically, because with cases, I think aesthetics is one of the more important parts, especially if you're not on like a super tight budget. Some of these cases, design wise, it's just not doing it for me. This one too, I think this is one of their new Constellation series. It's just odd. P120 Crystal. From Antec. Oh, hello. How much is this thing? Oh. Wait. P120 Crystal, only 140. I would have thought this was more expensive. Okay, let's take a look at this. It definitely has O11 dynamic vibes, but it would be a cheap cop out to say this is O11 dynamic clone, because this actually does not look dual chamber. It does have a basement up top. Like, you can't just call everything that has tempered glass on the front and side an O11 dynamic clone, right? Because they clearly have a separate front and rear chamber. To me, I don't see a rear chamber on this, so unless it does have a very shallow one. I do see like a partial power supply basement on top. Yeah, so it's a PSU attic. That's not the full length, but it doesn't look like they're using a rear chamber for much cable management. Yeah, it doesn't look like as deep of a rear side, so yeah, they go on sale for 110, normally 130. Yeah, so for 110, I mean, this is definitely a looker. It does look like it has something interesting going on with the door too, if I'm seeing this correctly. What's going on here? Is that like a slide it and swing it? Yeah, so they have like a patented slide open button. So yeah, I'm always for cases like this that have quick release type of mechanisms. I hate thumb screws. The like less thumb screws there are, the better in my opinion. More use of magnets, more use of those little peg dowel circular thingies that I forgot the name of already. And then sliding latches like this. Like, mwah. Chef's kiss. Yo, what's up, Luke Solinsky? Yeah, I gotta actually end now. Y'all keep pulling me back into looking at stuff when I said I was gonna end stream like 15 minutes ago. But I do appreciate it. There's always stuff to be talking about. So, yes, that's gonna be it for this stream. Again, for anyone who did miss it. Look forward to, hopefully this weekend, my mom building a PC for the first time. Should be a fun video. But yeah, other than that, hope everyone has a great rest of your day or evening. Have a good rest of your week, and have a good weekend coming up. And someone asked what's for dinner for me. What is for dinner? I haven't figured it out yet. That's what I'm gonna go figure out right now. But yeah, have a good night, everyone. Take care. Bye bye.